How we doing? Straight down here? Yeah. You got it all straight down here? He's got a cushion job.
Stand downstairs. She's been home doing virtual. So she's my chore helper. And she can't do chores. So I'm doing all her chores. And then just working a lot. And then I'm coaching my son's baseball. We got a game at 7. I'm coaching his ball team. I'm going to help him with basketball. He never stops. It's like, that's why I told him today I had to go to school at 4:30 for a meeting. Or 5 to 6 and the game at 7.
That's my problem.
But I don't know. I wouldn't.
Right. Look, you got to start with cars. Oh, did you? Yeah, I talked to him like twice. He was like,
Yes, sir. Yeah, December 7th.
I know, right? Lean one. Yeah, I love the with the strawberry lean one. That's my favorite. What's yours? Oh, yeah.
Everybody said it takes 6 to 8 weeks. I got something like 10 days. I guess I could put up with maybe extra $60 extra night. Deal. Anyway, time we tried to start looking things, a couple of months ago, it was already booked up and so I guess fall, whatever. So anyway, we Christmas
Hi,
lights.
Mr. Gerald.
He's in Arizona right now.
What? What are you doing in Arizona?
They went to go watch balloon races and
All right.
I know. Yeah, the ones on the wall.
That's right. And I haven't even seen it, don't know what it is. Is that it?
Yeah.
It looks fine to me.
That's fine.
good evening, everybody. Welcome to the October edition to the Lincoln Parish School Board meeting. I ask you all to rise as we pray, and then I'll ask Mr. George Mack Jr. to lead us in the pledge. Father, thank you so much for the chance to gather together, and God, thank you for this incredible school system, and God, even more importantly, the people who make it happen. And God, we thank you for the students that are here. And God, we thank you for this school year. God, we pray you bless this meeting in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Attention, salute, the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. I would take a moment for us to adopt the agenda. So hopefully everybody's had a chance to look at the agenda.
I will.
Thank you, Mr. Anders.
Hearing nothing from the public, I move that we adopt the agenda as printed.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Donna? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Hopefully also you have had a chance to review the minutes of last month's meeting. If you have any issues, please let us know now. If not, I'll take a motion that we accept those.
So moved.
So move. Thank you, Joe. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Debbie. Any issues with the minutes? If not, say aye.
Aye.
All against, say no. All right, thank you very much for that. Okay, Brandon, would you please introduce us to some special guests?
Absolutely. We got a crowd here tonight, and so we're excited to recognize some of these students here. We'll start with our Ruston High School Future Farmers of America, FFA, Parliamentary Law Team. So they've been watching you guys. Parliamentary law is a very important meeting settings. Now, I've already started off. All right, how are they doing so far? Everything good? All right. No interruptions. Perfect. Good deal. So these guys are state champions in parliamentary law. Now, I'm going to take you guys back. 2002, 2003, I was the state champion in parliamentary law. Now, my corduroy jacket doesn't fit as good. But we wanted to recognize them for being state champions. They're going to be going on to nationals, and they'll be competing against other parliamentary law teams around the nation. And so we're real excited for them to get that opportunity and show off not only the state of Louisiana, but Lincoln Parish. And so to have this group here from Ruston been on the national stage is a very big deal. So I'm going to give them some plaques for their in honor of their recognition. And as I call you, just stand up and I'll give it to you. Okay? I got Caden Woods, perfect. Emma Metters, Joe Alds, Lauren Strickland, Boston Smith, Paige Bordelon, and Isaiah Dozier. Awesome. You guys stand up. Oh yeah. There you go. Perfect. Good deal. Alrighty.
Could we get any family members of them to stand up so we can recognize them as well?
Absolutely.
On the outside, the hallway? That's great.
Awesome.
Sponsor?
Here. I was 3 in 2003. Y'all wanted to know?
Well, hold up. Are you serious?
Yeah, I know. It's terrifying.
I got gray hair too. It's crazy.
It's terrifying. Well, that's great. Listen, any board members? Any comments from the board members?
Congratulations, guys. I was a student at Ruston High School when FFA was started with Mr. Steve Baker and Track Kavanaugh back in the mid-'90s. So I'm a little older than some of those folks, but I remember it starting off very, very small, and to see where it's grown today is tremendous. So glad to see you guys be a part of that.
Here. Anyone else? Great. Well, congratulations to y'all and your families, and I would love for y'all to just feel free to give me some advice after the meeting. You know what I'm saying? If y'all say, Greg, that is welcome, and so we always want to do better. So thank y'all for what you do. Where is Nationals?
Indianapolis, Indiana.
Indianapolis, Indiana. Congratulations and good luck to y'all. When is it?
October 21st to the 26th.
Okay. All right. Well, good luck to y'all. Congratulations and thank y'all for what you do for representing Lincoln Parish and Ruston High.
Alrighty. Moving right along. We got some more. Yeah, y'all want to?
We're going to move out.
Okay.
Thank y'all.
I always bring a lot of friends when I come. They just like to hang out. Good deal. So each year, approximately 1.3 million students take the preliminary SAT National Merit Scholarship qualifying test and enter the competition for National Merit Scholarship Program. Based on their scores, only 16,000 students of the 1.3 million students are named National Merit semifinalists. And we are proud to say that we have 4 of those students right here in Lincoln Parish from Ruston High School. So, we want to recognize those students for being some of the best, once again, on the national stage, not only just the state of Louisiana, but in the United States. And so, we want to recognize them. As I call your name, if you'll just stand up for me, and I will give you your plaque. I have Cedric Sirio, Carter Timms, Anar Wasi, and Lydia Watts. Awesome. You guys stand up. Perfect. Good deal. Board, I'll open it up to you for any comments.
Thank you very much. Any board members?
Tremendous honor for you guys. Really, really proud of y'all. There's kind of a mantra that's been around Ruston the last couple of years that says beat everybody, and that's not just in athletics. And so when we talk about beating everybody, that's not so much a game thing, it's a mindset. And I think you guys have brought that to your education and to your academic career, and it's a tremendous honor, and I'm really, really proud of you guys.
So if y'all would, if you have somebody with you, would you introduce them for us? Like parents or anybody? Or from the school or anything?
My dad's here.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Very good.
I have my mom, dad, and brother here.
I have my parents, and Miss Henderson is here.
Well, congratulations on y'all. That's pretty amazing. Okay, and so we wish you all the very, very best of what you guys plan to do. Louisiana Tech's a great school for National Merit finalists. I'm just saying, I happen to know it's not a bad place. And Grambling is too. All right.
Sure.
No unfriendly. It's all friendly competition. No tigers. All right. Anyway, we hope you all wish you all the very best and congratulations. That's pretty awesome.
And thank you to your parents too.
Yes.
Appreciate them, the encouragement that they've given you.
Absolutely, yes. Good. Thank you, guys. Congratulations again. Y'all are welcome to get on out of here if you do, unless you want to stay. You're welcome to stay, but we understand if y'all want to leave, you're welcome to do that. All right, as they leave, that's awesome. That's really cool. Okay, so any unfinished business before this board? If not, we'll move on to item number 7, to approve the agreement with the City of Ruston for the McLean Center softball and tennis. Mr. Turret?
We've worked with the City of Ruston. Of course, the McLean Center kind of sits right in the middle of Ruston High School's campus, so this CEA allows us to purchase the McLean Center and the property there that it sits on, and also for the use of the softball and tennis facilities for the 24 fiscal year and the 25 fiscal year. So this is for $300,000 that we would pay the city. It would transfer over, convey over the McLean Center and the property that it sits on, and then we would have use of softball and tennis facilities for 24 and 25. Our recommendation is to approve this.
Okay, so we have a recommendation to approve the cooperative endeavor agreement with the city for $300,000. Again, that is to purchase the McLean Center, which is at Ruston High School, and also pay for this year that we're just rolling off of, and the next year for softball and tennis. So, anything from the board, or?
Do we have a cost allocation between the two?
The McLean Center and property was appraised for $225,000, and then the 70 $35,000 is for the other two facilities for 2 years.
Anything else? Then can I get a motion that we approve the agreement with the city?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Hancock. Do I get a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Joe. Any comments from the public? Hearing none. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. None. Okay, thank you. That is approved. Okay, item number 7.2 is to approve the payment for November salary supplemental check. Ms. Juanita, you got that one?
I got that one.
Okay.
All right, so this is, we're bringing to you the recommendation for the payment of the November 13th check. This is paid from the 2000 sales tax fund. Last year, the payment was $3,700 for certified staff, $1,850 for support staff. With the approval of the salary schedules, which the board approved in June of this year for 4/25, that was adjusted, and we reduced the 13th and 14th check payments for this year to take approximately $6,000 for certified and $3,000 for support staff, to put that into base salary and pay it out in 12 monthly equal installments during the year, increasing that base salary. And doing that, that reduces the amount from $3,700 for certified, $1,850 for support, to an amount that's of $1,716 for certified staff and $58 for support staff. That is what is recommended that we pay. This is the same equivalent as what we paid last year, with no increase or reduction in that amount for this November's payment. And again, the recommendation to leave this payment stable is due to the increasing costs of funding the health plan and also sales tax collections in this fund, for the most part being level since the last, for the first few months of this fiscal year, and then we saw in the past as we ended last fiscal year. So we want to keep that basically at a break even. So the recommendation is to pay $1,716 to certified staff, $858 to support staff for the November 13th check. And I did want to make a correction. That is going to be paid on the November payroll date on November the 21st. That's the recommendation for the board to consider and approve at this time.
Okay, so November 21st paycheck. Any comments or questions from the board? If not, I'll take a motion that we approve that as presented.
So moved.
So moved by Clark. Do I get a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. George. Any comments? Any comments from the audience? Hearing none. All in favor to approve that, say aye. Any opposed, say no. Okay, so those supplemental checks are approved. All right, item number 7.3, to approve the 2025 cafeteria plan. Juanita, you got that one too?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, so the cafeteria plan changes that we are recommending for the 2025 open enrollment that's coming up in November with EBI, formerly known as the Clinton Agency. We are recommending that we change our flexible spending account administrator. We have an option for our employees to tax defer and deduct funds to put into a flexible savings account. Currently, the provider, National Benefit Services, is charging our employees a fee for that. That's deducted from their accounts after those contributions are made. And talking with EBI, their recommendation is to change to JTS Financial Services for the administration of those accounts, and all of the financial reporting and tax reporting that goes along with that. They will manage that for us and not charge a fee to our employees. So that's going to be a cost savings for our employees in participating in that medical tax deferral program, or we call it DCAP, for dependent care services as well. So that's one recommendation. And then the other recommendation is to add a benefit with Aflac for critical illness. This product is voluntary. It's available to our employees to purchase. It'll provide lump sum payments anywhere from $5,000 to up to $50,000 should certain medical events or diagnoses of certain medical conditions occur. And again, that's optional. It's a new product. It's guaranteed issue for 2 years, meaning that if a dread disease or a heart stroke, some qualifying medical event on the prescribed lists occur, if employees have past history of that or their spouses, they can enroll with no questions asked. It wouldn't prevent them from not being able to obtain the coverage. So that's a good benefit at this time to be able to offer to our employees to just have a little bit of extra financial help should those foreseeable events occur. So we'd just like the board to consider this and approve this at this time so that we can add it to our open enrollment schedule with EBI.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Or comments from the board? If not, I'll take a motion that we approve the 2025 cafeteria plan with those changes as presented. Thank you, Donna Doss. Is there a second? Debbie Abram, thank you very much. Any comments from the audience? Hearing none, I will, all in favor to approve that, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Hearing none, we'll mark that as approved. Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Young, the pupil progression plan for 24-25, please.
Thank you, Mr. Phillips. Each year, BESI requires each local school system to develop and revise, if necessary, a plan for promoting and retaining students in the local system. Our plan is based on Bulletins 741, 1566, and Act 750 of the legislature. This plan complies with all state regulations. My recommendation is that the school board approves this pupil progression plan for the 24-25 school years for submission to the State Department of Education.
Thank you very much. Hopefully you've all had a chance to look over that document. Are there any questions about this document or any comments from the board?
This is a very, very important document for our schools. It oftentimes become a problem in our schools on promotion and retention. To have this in writing, as the state requires, I move that we approve it.
Thank you very much. There is a motion on the floor that we approve this by Mr. Anders. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second. Thank you very much, Hunter. Any comments from the board or any comments from the audience on this issue? Hearing none. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. Okay, thank you very much for that. Okay, we'll move on to Section 8, which are the reports. We're going to start with Dr. Hearn about Dibbles.
Good evening. How are you all?
Wonderful, thank you.
Share these with everyone.
Thank you.
Does anyone else like a copy? Okay. I'm sure you all have heard about this, so I want to come and you all to give you a report on the assessment and the supervisor. So the information that I'll present for Dibbles this evening will be basically the history of the Dibbles assessment, the uses of it and the intended purposes, and some of the results from the beginning of the year screener. And we just closed out that screener last Thursday, September 26th. So we have 30 days from the beginning of the school year which begin on August 15th. So we open the doors with testing or screening kindergartners with this assessment.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Well, can the audio?
Y'all hear?
With the on the video on the
with
YouTube
microphone.
with the microphone. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
we get
Oh,
it.
back
Up to the microphone.
Okay.
Perfect. Great. Okay, here we go. Okay, a little bit about the history of the assessment. The Dibbles assessment, which is also known as the K-3 Literacy Screener, was designed at the University of Oregon by the Center of Teaching and Learning. And the purpose of this was to create an instrument that's open source, so that means anyone can access it, to assess the acquisition of literacy skills of students. So how well are students acquiring the skills they need to be able to read. It is designed to be a short assessment or screener. That word is being used interchangeably now because originally it's a screener. Now it's getting the word assessment attached to it because, as you'll see in a little while, it is going to become a part of the school performance score beginning next year. But the screener is to be administered one-on-one with students. The subtests, all except for one, are 1 minute. Subtests, one of them is a 3-minute subtest. And educators are using it or supposed to use it to check the literacy skills of students and to see if their general reading outcomes are progressing the way it should. There are subsets of assessments and 3 major cut scores. They are below benchmark, at benchmark, and above benchmark. And it should be noted that the progress of the student at the benchmark levels increase over time, meaning that if a student scores at benchmark or above benchmark at the beginning of the school year as well as below benchmark, that does not mean that they're going to score that same level as the year progresses. If a child starts off strong, but for some reason there's some different things that's happening with them that they are not progressing in their reading, they can be reading at the same level when they get to mid-year as they were reading at the beginning of the year, but because the expectation is for the students to increase in their skills, that student could possibly score below benchmark. So now the intended uses of the results. This screener, intended use by the designers, once again the University of Oregon, is to be a progress monitoring tool. And if you are familiar with progress monitoring, that means that you're gauging the acquisition. It gives the teachers an instrument to gauge students' acquisition and their progress of learning to see if they're on track in their reading success. It identifies students who need to benefit from, more intense instruction, strategic instruction, or just a core instruction that's already occurring in the classroom. So it gives the teachers an idea, if the children need interventions. It also tells the teacher if they need to change the instruction. Is the instruction are they being successful in the instruction? So they decide, are we going to change what we're doing? Are we going to change the intensity of it? And as far as school districts are concerned, they can study the results of this to determine across classrooms and grade levels are the best resources being used, and if they think that the best resources are being used, are those resources being used as they should be used. So it helped districts do a program analysis of the curriculum and the resources that we have set for the teachers to use. While I point out what the progress monitoring, the Dibbles screener, is used for, it is also important to point out what it should not be used for. It is never to be used to grade a student. It should only be used as a decision-making tool. Okay, I turn to the second page. So, with keeping it in mind that this screener was developed as a classroom instrument to monitor the progress of students attaining the skills or acquiring the skills to be successful readers, then we are going to switch over to Louisiana's purpose for using this assessment. There's a state law in Louisiana that requires that all students in K-3 be screened by a single state screener 3 times a year, the first 30 days of school, during the month of December, and during the month of April. And the screen is to be used to identify students experiencing, again, difficulties in reading, and this allows teachers to have time to adjust the instruction for the students. It also identifies students who could possibly need further evaluation for issues such as dyslexia or being gifted. Any questions so far? I know this is a lot of information at one time. Okay. Now, Louisiana subtests and descriptions. So what's on this test? What do the students see when they're assessed? You know, there are these subtests. They're 1 minute. There are 3 minutes for one of these. You have a chart here that tells you that, you know, what subtests are administered at each grade level, and it gives you a quick description of the subtests. The first one would be letter name and fluency. It's 1 minute. The students are presented with a page of letters and asked to name the letters. You have the second subtest, which is phonemic segmentation fluency. This is also 1 minute where the examiner say the word and the student says the individual sounds. You can see both of these are used at kindergarten and first grade. You have nonsense word fluency, which is also 1 minute, and the students are presented with a page of nonsense words that follow English patterns. And you see I've put some examples down there for you to see what nonsense words are. Those nonsense words are assessed at kindergarten, first, second, and third. We have the word reading fluency, which is another subtest for 1 minute. That's at all grade levels, and the students are presented with a page of words and asked to read those words. You have oral reading fluency, the last 1 minute subtest, and students are presented with a passage and asked it to read it, and this is assessed. This subset is used for grades first through third. And lastly, you have MAZE, which assesses the students' comprehension. It's a 3-minute screener where the students are presented with the passage. Approximately every 7th word is blank. They have a drop down of 3 choices. One is the word that should go in the blank, and then there are 2 distractors, and the students must read this passage independently. All subtests except for the MAZE are administered one-on-one with the teacher. For the MAZE, the students, since they can do this by themselves and it's they have their own devices, then you can administer that in a group. Now the question may come, what accommodations are students are allowed to have? Students are allowed to have extended time. Extended time meaning that is time 2. So if it's a 1 minute subtest, they're allowed 2 minutes to do it. For the MAZE, it's a 3-minute subtest. They're allowed 6 minutes to do it. So it's not like some of the other assessments, such as LEAP, where the time is unlimited as long as they get it completed in 1 day. They still, even with extended time, there's a limit on the number of minutes they get to use for this assessment. Okay. Now, in addition to accommodating those students who can access this screener, we have to provide an alternate rubric known as the Literacy Alternate Assessment Rubric, the LAR, and this is used for students who have significant cognitive disabilities. And as is stated here, it is a rubric, and right now it is very open to interpretation of what materials you can use. We can use a range of classroom resources and assessments. That means that what's used in this classroom may not be used in the classroom, across the district, or it may not be used across the state. So right now, that's a piece they are trying to figure out. It is a rubric. They're making sure that those students with significant cognitive disabilities can be assessed. But right now, that data may not be as useful as we would like it to be because there's an open range on what can and cannot be used. Questions so far? Okay. I go to page 3. The screener formats. I want to point this out. Last year, we were told that the screener was going to be up and running. It was going to be online for the students to complete the screener and for the teachers to score. However, that was not the case. At the last minute, they told us that we would use the open source material, as well as the process that we've been using, because once again, DIBELS is not new. The fact that we are going to use this in-school performance score is new, and like I said, DIBELS has been used to monitor student progress in reading all along for years, but it has, for lack of better words, the State Department has put teeth in this screener now. So last year it was a scramble. One of the words I used is we were building the plane as we were flying on it. So that gives you a visual. So we opened the year. We had to give this assessment as if it was a secure assessment, even though it was the same assessment that the teachers had been given in the past years. Open source. Anyone with the knowledge or the desire to go find this assessment online can do so. But we had to treat it as secure. So that tells you how that went. The middle of year assessment, we were told it was going to be up and running, online, and we were only halfway there. So for middle of year, we also had to do field testing, and Lincoln Parish was one of the districts, because we are great at what we do. We were chosen to be one of the districts that had to do field testing, and the field testing was delayed. We were supposed to do that before we went home for Christmas in December, because of course you see the screener middle year is supposed to be completed in December, but it ended up that it was not ready for us to do the field test until after we came back, and then we had to push in the middle year behind that. With the middle year, as I said, it was still not fully up and running. The students' assessment or the screening material was still paper, but the system was open in class for the teachers to actually score within the system. That was some quick training from teachers who are accustomed to scoring students on paper. Now they had to adjust to scoring students on a screen. Once again, this was a non-secure screener. And finally, we got to the end of the year. They were able to use information or data they had collected from field testing to create a Louisiana-specific screener. And as you can see, that was the only secure screener or assessment for this DIBELS assessment. But we were fully operational. We were online with the student screening, and we were online with the teacher scoring. So last year, this assessment was given 3 different ways. So when you look at the data, you have to consider the fact that it was given 3 different ways. Now, to this year, 24-25, we have more consistency. All assessments are going to be online with student screening, which means that the student has a device, and then it is going to be online with teacher scoring. So this summer, we worked with the technology department, ordered devices for the students, touchscreen devices that you can turn the touchscreen feature on and off. But every school has a set of devices in the school that is used for this screening that the teachers have trained on. And like I said, we've been successful as of last week, Thursday, in completing the beginning of the year assessment. Once again, for this year, beginning of the year, middle of the year, it is a non-secure screener assessment, even though they promised us they're getting there. But it is non-secure, which means it's still the open source material that is available through the University of Oregon. However, the end of year is what we have been promised, and that is online for everything, and once again a secure screener. With that being said, I'll hold on, I won't jump. The end of year, since that is the only secure screener, will be the only assessment that is used in school performance score, because we cannot use the others because they're non-secure. Okay, so your testing windows, once again, the first 30 days of school, we opened up the school year on August 15th, testing students. That was a great day. And we finally ended last week, Thursday. And then we have the second window in December. You can see that we are testing from the beginning of December right up to walking out the door. So we'll start pretty much as soon as that window opens, so that we'll still have the students and the teachers' attention. And then finally we have window 3, which will open up April 1st through April 30th, and we're working with scheduling LEAP assessment, because although kindergarten, first and second do not take the LEAP, the third graders will have to take this screener as well as their LEAP assessment. So we're working on schedules for that to make sure that we can get all this testing done. Okay, now the results, which everyone is waiting on. You have the history of it, you know the structure of it, so the results of it. I've given you the beginning of year data or numbers, percentages for the students who are at or above benchmark from last year and this year. I do want to note that while the state provided the data for last year's BOY for the district, we did not get state supplied data for, the state supplied the BOY data for the State Department. They did not supply the BOY data for the district. Our K-2 literacy facilitator actually calculated the numbers for the district for the beginning of year 23-24. So we're going to compare. First, I want to compare vertically from last year to this year. So you have kindergarten, last year 32%, this year at or above benchmark, this year 25%, so we went down. For grade 1, we were 45% proficient last year. We went up to 48%. Last year for grade 2, we were at 41% proficient. This year we went up to 57% proficient. Last year we were at grade 3, we were at 50% proficient, and this year we remained at 50%. Okay, when we compare that to the State Department, you can see for kindergarten, the State Department also dropped from last year to this year, and they went up similar to the district for both first and second grade, and the only difference is that the State Department went up third grade, where the district we stayed even. So that's vertically looking at this. Once again, when you're looking at this data, you have to consider that this is a different set of students, so you're not comparing the same students. And also, it's a different assessment, because as I talked to you about on page 2, the assessment changes from grade K and 1 to 2 and 3, and again, it changes from first to second and third. So you see a lot of changes. So the assessment that the child saw at the end of the year is not the assessment that they're going to see at the beginning of the year. Also, I'd like to point out that with this assessment, it's pre-test, just like the pre-test that we give in our classes for students. Meaning, if a child walks in third grade, we're not doing a placement test to see where they were at the end of second grade. So the test they take in third grade is not end of year second grade skills. The test they take when they walk in the door in third grade is the skills that they're expected to have at the end of third grade. So it is truly a progress monitoring tool. Well, you're checking to see, okay, this is the end goal for these students. Where are they now? We give them instruction. You progress monitor in middle of year and say, have they progressed? And then again, you check them at the end of the year to see if they're where they're supposed to be. And once again, it's that end of year data that the State Department will report heavily on and use for school performance score. Okay, now if we go horizontally to compare the district to state, you can see last year for grade K we were 6% below the state in proficiency. In first grade we were 2% above the state. In second grade we were 1% above the state, and in third grade we were 26% above the state. This year, when we opened the doors, like I said, different set of students, different assessments that these students have seen. We were, for kindergarten, we were 4% below the state, 2% for first grade, 2% below the state, for second grade, 2% above the state, and for third grade, 4% below the state. Any questions thus far? Yes.
Question. So, if it's an open source, why are we at 50%?
Because we are doing it as the State Department instructed us to do, and we're not having our teachers to go and pull that material, because that would be harmful to the students. If we pre-teach this material that is openly available, we're not doing the children justice, and the teachers cannot see where we need to go. So it would be cheating if we went and got the open source, and we will not do that.
So where I'm headed at is curriculum alignment, high quality instructional material. How confident are we with the alignment?
Okay, I was not at the board meeting the last month, but from what I understand, the curriculum team addressed that, and they had a group in to share the curriculum and the program that they're going to use.
So
when you talk about pre-teach, are we asking the year before?
What I'm asking is, this is open source, and I get it. Like you don't want to expose the students.
Yes.
My concern is the instructional material that we're using in alignment. If our students are at 50%, that's a concern.
Yes, and definitely so. And there's a new program, like I said, last month, that was presented to the board. The new program that is being used, is it in conjunction with Louisiana Tech? Yes, UFly. So you should have received information about that last month as far as concerning the curriculum and the plan to address the deficits that you're seeing. Now, I will say that from my standpoint, I am the assessment supervisor, so my job is to make sure the assessment is given, and then if asked, I will help analyze the data, but the curriculum team that we have analyzes that data, and they make those decisions on curriculum. And as I said, they shared that last month on what they're doing to address these issues. So it's been identified, we recognize it, and they are addressing it.
So, Dr. Williams, sorry. So if
Yes.
I'm looking at this data, you said that, and I get what you're saying is kindergarten last year's are not kindergarten this year.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But if we're to look at that data, last year's kindergartner, this year's first graders. So
Yes.
Is that fair to look at that like?
It is not.
It is not?
No,
Okay.
it's not, because once again, this year's first graders, last year's kindergartners, if you go back and grab the end of year data from that year, that is checking their reading level and expectations of them to be end of year kindergarten readers. This year, when we open the doors, those same set of students, you cannot compare those assessments, because now we close the doors assessing them on end of year kindergarten skills, and we're opening the door assessing them on end of year first grade skills.
Has the state been specific about how they're going to pull this data and use it, since they're only using the end of the year?
We're still waiting on some of that information, how they're going to do that. So I know that the new accountability model is coming. I do not feel comfortable speaking on what I've seen or heard until I see it in writing. One of the worst things you can do is teach someone wrong and then have to go back and undo it. So I don't feel comfortable speaking on what they're saying until I see that in writing.
Very good.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Okay.
I'm sorry, we got one more page. I'm sorry.
Oh, you got one more page? Yes, I'll speed this up.
No, you're doing fine. I thought we were done. I realized we're not.
Page 4, the last page. How is Louisiana going to use these results? Again, while we will still use this as a progress monitoring tool, like I said, it will be pushed into accountability. For years, people have complained and said, how are we holding K-2 teachers accountable? They get to third grade, then we assess them what was happening prior to third grade. So the State Department heard this and they saw a need for it. So now they have said, okay, we're going to use this screener to hold K-2 teachers accountable and to track those students to see if they're progressing and they're learning the way they should. So end of year data this year, the second bullet on inclusion and accountability, they will use this year's EOY scores as the baseline for growth for next year. And then next year, 25-26, it will be included in the school performance score. This data is also used to refer gifted students, and you can see there are 3 sub-bullets there where we have to report the gifted student score in above average range. The non-gifted students referred for additional screening, and the non-gifted students referred for gifted evaluation. Now, along with all of this, like I said, this is 4 pages long. It's quite a bit for you all to see. So I have included all of the sources where I've pulled this from, so you can have this if you want to do some of your own independent study. And if you have questions, you're more than welcome to reach back out.
Great. Any other thoughts from the board?
Thank you for your hard work on this.
Yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, moving on to item number 8.2, personnel. Dr. Lewis.
Mr. President, I'd like to report 1 faculty termination, 2 faculty resignations, and 1 transportation resignation.
Thank you very much. Ms. Duke, sales report. Sales tax report.
Sales tax report for the month of September. Total collections, we're up 6.39% compared to September last year. Overall for the year, we're up 9.91%. However, I do want to remind you that in July, we were up 34.28%, mainly because of the reduction that we took in July of 2023, one-time sales tax refund. So whenever you look at all of that, all in all, we really are not at the same level of collections that we were last year on a fiscal basis. But it's looking better. I'm glad to see the rebound this month. Let me go on with the other reports?
Go on,
Okay.
unless anybody has any thoughts on that. Yes, please.
Okay, so now moving on to the financial reports for the fiscal year for the month period ended August 31st, 2024. You have several reports in your packet, and hopefully this is providing more information on performance of our funds. The first report that you have is on our special revenue funds. I apologize, this is kind of backwards on your form sheet. I don't know if you have the special revenue fund or the general fund first on your list, but we have for our special revenue funds, we have collected so far 5.26% of our total budget revenue. Total expenditures in our special revenue funds, we have spent 14.5% of our total budgeted expenditures for special revenue funds. This is an increase over last year of about 69%, mainly because of spending down those ESSER funds, purchasing a lot of curriculum materials early, trying to get all of those funds spent before they expire yesterday. And we're only now in the liquidation phase for our federal ESSER funds going forward through about the middle of November. So that is for the special revenue funds. Total change in fund balance for the 8 months ending, for the 2 months ending August 31st, 2024, a decrease of $3.2 million in total. On the next page for our general fund, we have total revenue collections of about 11.1% of our budget for revenues. We've spent 8.25% of total budget expenditures. This is a little bit higher, our expenditures a little bit higher, mainly because instead of those one-time payment for the 13th and 14th check occurring in November and in May, we are paying a portion of that every month now. You're going to see an increase just because of that. And salaries and benefits related to those payments and the increase of the monthly salaries. Total revenues, we're showing that we're down about 29.5% in the general fund, actually in the special revenue fund as well, mainly because of the sales tax payment for September that was not received in time to accrue it into this report for equal comparison to this time last year. But that will be caught up for next month. Sales tax office was not able to give the detailed information, although we were able to report on total collections in the sales tax report, but they were not able to get that detail to us in time to prepare these reports. But we'll have that in there, a more fair comparison next month. Okay. Total change performance in the general fund, an increase of $1.9 million in overall fund balance for the period ending August 31st. So the health fund report.
Yep.
Okay, so we have total planned expenses of right at $1.38 million for the month of August. Average expenditure or expenses that we've been paying for this plan year have been around $1.447 million. $1.447 million monthly, and total expenses for the year, for the plan year of $11.5 million. That is approximately $1.4 million higher than total payments for the same period ending last year. Total performance for the month, we have a decrease in net assets of $21,239 for the month of August in the health plan.
Okay. you very much. Any questions from the board? Any comments from the board on those? Yeah, the health plan. All right, thank you very much.
We are, I just want to make a note, we are meeting and we are looking at renewals for our, for the health plan for 2025. And we are seeing some increases, mainly because of changes in plan benefits that we're mandated to offer, minimum plan benefits mandated to offer in the retiree Medicare Advantage plan. Better benefits, of course, that's going to cost a little bit more. So we're seeing some preliminary increases in that, and we have some meetings this week to review that information, and hope to have something to the board to review and consider for that next month.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Barrett.
Yes, so Friday we do have professional development for our teachers. Kids will be virtual that day, and then next week is fall break. So everyone gets a break. Safe travel if any of them are going anywhere. Our truancy department moved out of the courthouse and moved into the McLean Center this week. Still in the process of getting them moved over there, but they will be in there going forward. And then our next board meeting is on a Thursday, November 7th, and that is a noon meeting at Ruston High School. Of course, we'll start a tour of that at 11. It is on Thursday because the 5th fell on election day. We were out of school that day, so we just pushed it back to Thursday, November 7th, and that'll be at noon at Ruston High School. Thank you.
Very good. Any final comments from the board?
Yes, Mr. President, the Superintendent, Dr. Williams had a significant accomplishment, and to the extent it certainly brings recognition to our board. I think all the board members are aware, but if not, I was hoping that you and the superintendent will allow her to maybe, should she desire, to share what that grant is all about.
Absolutely. Dr. Williams, you want to share about that?
Thank you. So, Grambling State was awarded the prestigious Hawkins Grant from the Biden and Harris administration. And so basically the grant focuses on, I partnered with NIET, and if you all are familiar with NIET, is the state, as far as their aspiring rubric and their rubrics for teacher evaluation, this entire state has moved to it. So we partnered with them. And so in that, with the grant, we also partnered with several school systems. And so the purpose of it is, one is to be able to recruit and retain teachers. We know that in rural communities, there is really nationwide, there's a teacher shortage. And so the grant also focusing on the bilingual component too. We know that there's a growing population in the community. And so that grant will also focus on that as well. So we're excited. Lincoln Parish is one of the partners in the grant too as well. We also have a community in practice component that will provide support to the administrators and the new teachers too as well. One of the things when I was submitting the grant, we researched and looked throughout the nation, the turnover, teachers are not staying in the field. So there's a high turnover. They're leaving the field and going to other areas too. So we wanted to build a community in practice where we provide support to the new teachers, and we also be able to just give frequent feedback to the administrators as well. So we will be able to equip them to be able to provide more support.
Very good.
Thank you.
That was a big deal.
Oh, thank you.
Big deal. Any other comments from the board? If not, I accept the motion, we adjourn.
So moved.
So moved. All in favor say aye. Aye.